Editing cut. Take one. Tracie Daly interviewing Eoin Cluskey at Bread 41. Let's go,
can we
Tracie.
keep that in? Fabulous. Okay, Eoin Cluskey, a push for reusable packaging. That's the theme of today's interview.
Okay.
And what we want to do is uncover what that really means to you. But first of all, can you tell me a bit about you?
Bit about me?
Yeah.
Oh God, really quickly, yeah. Carpenter by trade, went to school, became a carpenter because I could get great money, travelled on the back of that, then while abroad, fending for myself and realising I had to cook for myself, standing on 2 feet. Fell in love with food, working in a cafe, actually polishing concrete floors, and a fella said, can anyone cook? And I said, I can fry eggs. And from that moment on, I did nothing else but fry eggs. And then coming home from travelling, went to the wonderful Ballymaloe Cookery School, met this crazy woman in a night dress, and Darina, she shouted at me, said, what are you doing? I said, I'm looking doing the course. So she said, come and meet us, and this is what we're doing. So off the back of that, I did the 12-week course, stayed down for a little bit, and I've done nothing worse. But since then, both cook and be involved in food, so it's great.
It is marvellous.
Yeah.
What a great decade adventure. Anyway, thanks so much for that. And the lady in the night dress, she's a good egg.
She's a good egg.
Can I ask you, what's your greatest food memory?
Food, listen, I was very fortunate enough. I grew up in a bakery. My nanny was a baker, so I grew up around that. So I suppose, I think anyone that's involved in food, and I think all of us, whether you're in food or not food, has that moment that probably meant something to you where the brain will constantly bring you to that. It was probably my nana. Anytime we went to my nana's, it was, she'd actually do this and she was patting herself down. She was covered in flour. So instead she gave you an embrace, a hug. She wanted to cover you in flour because she's probably on the flip side of it. Yeah, flour, love, don't be hugging them. So that there would have trained in from simple apple pie. The last actually, honestly, since then, what would have been the first time I ever tasted it in season, organically grown tomato, which was in Ballymaloe 10, 11 years ago, where we went down to the greenhouse and someone says, everyone like tomatoes, put our hands up, yeah, I like tomatoes, and we try one and you edit, and they're just like, close your eyes, boom, it's like a sweet.
Yeah.
So like that, with them two, would stand out massively to me, yeah.
Oh, I love it, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the whole journey with your granny and the flour, and how that can bring so many people back to that situation of being in their kitchen.
I think,
Because it's from scratch.
It's from that element of, that's what we all have. If you all ask yourself, what's your greatest food memory? It's really weird because it won't be, oh, last week I ate in this restaurant.
Yes.
It'll be something that's so simple that has emotion behind it. Yeah. And that's what a chef's job is, to deliver emotion on a plate. Sometimes they can't always do it, so it's like,
I like that.
So it'll be a family member. So
yeah,
that's what it was.
Beautiful. I love that. Okay, as a child then, we'll stay within this. Were you educated about eating sustainably, either at school or at home? Do you remember?
Well, I'm not that old,
yeah.
But I would say that, that's not like, it's real weird saying back then. So, them days, my nanny and granda had an allotment in the back garden. It was a small garden, council house, Sallynoggin, and the garden was, they grew veg to bring it in because, like in my childhood and in my mum's childhood, real butter was a treat. So it was like, oh, down to Mrs. Madden's house, she's going to give us a block of butter, and it was like this trade-off for butter. That wasn't 250 years ago, you know what I mean? So recently, you're sort of, there was no choice and you were automatically eating that way. I'm one of 6, so I suppose mum and dad fed to what they could afford. So I think it was like, listen, we sustainable, we still got, every dad was home, dad worked Monday to Wednesday away, we come home on Thursday, so we always got a bag of chips on a Thursday. So yeah, like we always did, it was whatever you had, you ate. It was no sitting on the thing going, I don't like this, that and that, I didn't eat.
Yes.
So it was, I think automatically that's how people cook sustainably, you know?
Yeah. I love the fact that they were able to grow so much, and it was normal though, wasn't that?
Everyone
thing?
did.
It was part and parcel, and you're right, it isn't that long ago, but however, the gap between, we've kind of lost direction quite a bit.
Between now and then.
Yes.
And you can see, it's funny, I always say this to people, that anytime there's an emergency in life, and I think the emergency came when, little simple ones, you look at the snow in 2010, oh, the world's going to end, look at COVID, which we've just come through, everyone falls back to getting around the table, whether they're by themselves or one other person, at cooking, get back to their memories, comfort, something that instead of putting out something around you, you're wrapping the food around you and learning into that thing. So yeah, it's really weird anytime there's that, you go back to the basics, you know.
To nurture.
Yeah. Well, we can stay there and be good now. Yeah, stay there and be good,
Bread 41 also runs bread making classes, obviously, because you're a teacher.
Yeah.
You're a natural born teacher. Okay. I would say that about you. I know you.
I wasn't the best in school. So
you
I wasn't.
A natural
I
born
definitely.
teacher.
I suppose. Okay, so it's very, very easy to teach something to someone that you really appreciate and love. So that's important. And likewise with the classes, it's like at the moment with just coming out of COVID, we would have 6 or 8 people down when we got back to courses 2 months ago. Yeah. It's about me being able to get these people in the room, teach them a new skill or brush up on a skill, but more than that is to take them away from their daily life. So I don't want, if they leave and earn one loaf of bread, I'm happy days. But if they leave and just enjoy it, and to switch off from the crazy world outside, come in and go, throw them in the deep end. It's so funny, they come in, it's like junior infants. They all sit there and they're like panic, and I'm like, don't worry guys, it's our first day, we're all going to be fine. At the end of this, we're going to be hugging each other and high fives. And they're like looking at you allergic. Then 30 minutes into class, loosen up, shoulders drop. So as much for me, it's as much as about the teaching, it's about getting people out of that rat race, that outside. And that's another thing I hope we don't go back to. Just like I always say that to them, if you don't have the time to make a loaf of bread at home, or make a food at home, or even an apple pie, in a nice way possible, to stop and look at your life and go, what am I doing wrong? If you don't have that 30 minutes, that hour for yourself, what's it worth? You know?
Because
so
the joy it brings is quite
that's what we're in, you know? Yeah.
And so even within those bread classes, the types of people, who are they? They just coming from work life, or are they
always get a doctor.
Industry?
Always get a doctor.
Yeah.
Always get a doctor, and doctor and nurse always seem to get. I had my first home economics teacher about 2 months ago, which I was super excited. I'm getting to go to that school now and teach the kids, because bread's on the leaving cert. So 5th year, so that I'm really excited about capturing that person. It's funny because this particular lady, she was lovely, she was real nice, but she's super honest. She said to me, actually, I don't teach bread because I don't know enough about it. And I'm like, well, listen, I'm going to help you, anything I can do. And she reached out after, and that's who you want to change. But it could be anyone. Like, you get it's 8 to 10 people from different walks of life, and that's what I love as well, because it's meeting people, getting to know people, and you never know who's in front of you. So it's always have your best foot forward. Be tour ready. That's it.
I love it. Now, one thing, and why we're here to talk about reusable packaging is of huge importance to you and your Bread 41 team. What inspired you to prioritise this? It's a big deal.
Yeah, no, it's a massive deal. I think, that's I like that word. It's like reuse, and it's really important for everyone to understand compostable, reuse. Reuse is the key. Yeah. So it's like getting something that you can use again. Compostable, it's compostable, so it's okay, and it's really weird. We've gone here now, 4 days a week we don't take any takeout cups, and last week I was out to the shop and we had this reusable cup, and it comes, you put €1 down, you get the cup and you bring it back. And I was outside, and this guy just walked out with the cup, he took the lid off, he threw the lid in the ground, he started drinking the coffee. And I was just in shock. I was just like looking down. And I just said, and he walked off, and you know what, honestly, I said nothing. Because he actually caught me off. I was like, he couldn't have just done that. He did. So it's like, that drives me on with the reuse thing, because it's the education, why you're doing it. Like, it's not this whole, I'm going to do this. When we first opened, and when I got into the food industry, I came into the food industry later. So a couple of things about me, I probably travelled quite a bit. I was a bit older, so I was able to stand up for myself, which is very, very important in an industry that, like, it's changed a lot, but when I got into it, it might have been a bit like that. And also I just looked around, it's just this waste, this mass waste created. And then from a business point of view, call it what you like. It's like anything you see going to the bin, or any waste you want, is money. And people say, oh, there's no money in the food industry, it's this, it's that, it's that. Focus on your waste. If you're focused on what's going in the bin, how many days, I go, how many days the bins are going to, what's in the bin? I get the clear bags, I pick it up, I see what's in it, I empty the bags out, I spot check. But if you can control that, it's unbelievable how much you can put back into the business and also back into the team. So if you get them focused, and this comes from, having your vision, culture driven, I'm doing it because I believe in it, I'm not just doing it to say I do it. So it's to get away from now, we're in the time living in where there's a lot of this wonderful greenwashing going on. They're just saying it because they have to say it. But I believe the generation coming up next, our future leaders and our future partners and employees, that they'll want to know what your sustainability is. They don't care about money. This is what people get. This is not money driven. People come, good culture, great team to be involved in, allowed to be creative, and have that work-life balance. That's what they want. Okay, there's a money element behind all that, but the forefront of the next generation is wanting this. Yeah. They're not going to come, how much is it? Yeah. This is going to come, they're going to come expecting you to have your sustainability, working towards your SDGs, which at the moment I'm still going through. I'm looking at different elements where I'm going, okay, do I go 12 and 2, or what do I do? So it's like, and not saying I'm doing SDGs all of them, because you can't be everything to everyone. So pick something, start small, focus on that, and then grow from that. Yeah. And there's no point me sitting here saying I'm going to be zero waste next month. Last October, I made a promise that I'd be zero waste this October. So I'm working to that goal. So setting yourself small goals and achievable goals. There's nothing worse than someone saying, do this in 6 months, and then you lose sight. So again, working on OKRs, 90-day objectives, bring the team in, get everyone to take something small and work to that. And once that's done, it's in, and anyone coming into the business beyond them just follow suit. Yeah. So it's important.
It is important, and working backwards.
Yeah.
To know what you want, working backwards.
Yeah, definitely.
Putting in place the steps.
Yeah.
And it's the clarity around it.
Yeah.
Because when you lose a step, you lose focus.
Yeah.
And so, and I love the fact that you bring your team in. So if we go back to the gentleman last week who dropped the lid, because I know you would have walked away from that and you would have thought, thought long and hard about how to prevent that.
Well, the why, why.
But since, what actions have you put in place to try and minimise that?
Well, I think this is all. So this is like everything in the food industry, and everything you do is through education, through communication. Maybe not education, through communication, by saying this is what we're doing and why we're doing it. And this is the get. It's not like we're doing this for the sake, he's like, flicking on or whatever. It's just his little thing why we're doing it, and like looking at where's cup gone. I've gone this journey of following the cup lately, and the journey it takes, and it comes in, where it's coming in from. It's packaged, this box, and you go, we're using compostable cups. Oh, are you? Great. How do they come in? Cardboard, tape, sleeves of plastic. So it doesn't make a difference if it's compostable. So like, I made the choice to eradicate that, and then again bring the. It's really weird, like this sort of the tribe mentality. There's people all with you. You don't leave anyone behind. If someone's struggling, why you're doing it and what you're doing it for, just explain to them why we're doing it. And then if you can change one little thing, one little habit that they do at home, and it's the same shopping. I always look for loose, but then I look how it's loose but has a big sticker on it. I'm like, okay, when do we get to the stage? And then it's an onus on the supermarkets. And I'm not pro supermarkets. I do believe there's a lot of supermarkets and leaders making change. I'm all for it. Listen, it's convenient buying. People need to go to the one unit to get what they need. But in fairness, then they've stepped up quite a bit. They are. There's massive supermarkets making big changes. Like a couple of them taking your packaging back, trying to limit packaging. But again, if they go back to the communication side of it, explain why we're doing this. And there is, listen, God only knows what's down the road, but little steps. Everyone did something small, be a big difference.
Yeah. And that's it. I love that. But I think you're absolutely right. The communication, and it's consistent communication.
Yeah.
Because when you fall off kilter, or if you fall off that pulpit, that's the wrong word. But if you fall from what it is you're trying to get across, people forget.
Yeah.
So quickly. Yeah. And so that's a whole lot of investment from you, which is fabulous. Because of your passion behind it, you have to drive it.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have to drive your team, and it is that consistency around communication in-house first.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's all from here.
Well, I think a lot of it's down to your values, and down to what your vision is, your beliefs, the communication when people enter the building for a job. Good induction. This is what we're doing. We've recently done a thing, and I sends a video away when we work here. It works really well. And also on the backside of that, when I talk about waste, I don't talk about something that you throw on the ground. I talk about time wasted. So I talk about things that will waste time. So if I have a job going and I say, we're working to like a lean concept, how you can change, speed your life up by 2 seconds, take them all, and then they'll amalgamate the bigger picture. You want a job here, send me a quick snippet of why you want to work here. And that just goes, you get 100 CVs, it brings the CV down to 25.
Yeah.
So 75 people you don't have to waste your time, not being bad, but waste your time, they don't want to talk. I need clear communication. I need people that are willing to communicate and also willing to hear. So it's another way to do things.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Terrific.
Oh,
what a huge learning.
Yeah.
It's every day, every week, every month, every year.
Yeah.
And it's just continuous because it never ends.
Yeah. Never.
And so when it comes to the sustainability of your business, that patch that you've made to yourself first, to your business, and then to your team is so incredible. And I love how vocal and clear you are about it.
Yeah.
So the to-go cups, as in on a Monday you stopped takeaway cups. How long ago was that?
So we actually did this pre-pandemic. So 2 years ago, I think it's 2 years ago now in March, we didn't have cups 4 days a week. And then the pandemic hit, and it's funny, I just had a conversation this morning with the team on the management meet about blue roll. It's another, so you wash your hands and you put in this roll and you wipe your hands and it goes in the bin, and I just can't get my head around it. Pre that, we had the rolls you pulled and dry your hands. And then they came in and like, no one knew what was going on. Corona hit. It's like you can't use them anymore because they mightn't be, has to go in the bin, washing your hands. So they went out, so we're putting them back in. So now we can use them again. So it's like we were working this really strong zero waste goal. Pandemic came, you couldn't take out cups. And honestly, you didn't know what was going on. And you think we created waste pre-pandemic?
Yeah.
You look at the waste we created in the pandemic.
Because of
bins, everything, the amount of rubbish, masks, gloves. It's just, I actually would say over 2 years we've gone back about 10 to 15 years of creative waste. So getting back on it, saying right now we're going to do this again, work towards the goal. So we're 4 days a week just today, so the first of every month we just take a cup gone. So this Friday will be next month, and then Saturday, Sunday. So I think it's like 3 more months.
So you're bringing everyone with you.
That's the thing.
Slowly,
yes.
but not too slow either.
No.
It's
getting
a chance to adapt. Yes.
And then it's saying
very powerful.
Through Instagram, through social, saying this month, hey guys, it's no cup.
Yeah.
Thursday, we need to bring a cup. And to be honest with you, in Bread 41, this doesn't work without the people. And the people have been open arms. They've got on board. And it's true engagement, and they'll say to you, well, what's going on here? Like we get feedback, the cups we're using that we're renting out, or they don't drink correctly, so we're looking at why it's drinking, we're looking at the whole experience and staying on top of that. So we're 4 days and we've got to this stage before, so I'm hoping everything is moving normal again. So no cups, good.
Yeah, terrific. I love it, and I love watching what it is you do for everyone, because you're a leader within this area. And that's why we wanted to talk to you today, because I do believe in everything that you state comes from a place of pure passion, belief, honesty. And so when I look at your journey, when I look at when you started this, and I remember when you started this, and to see where you are today, regardless of the pandemic, that consistency in your approach is absolutely so admirable.
Yeah, well, it's again vision.
Yeah.
You know, keep your values, get your values set, and stick to your values, and the values help massively.
Yeah, they do. They get you up in the morning, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you think the Irish food scene is adapting and understanding the needs for reusable packaging? So outside of yourself here, how do you find that scene?
I think it's good. I would actually genuinely, I'm a big believer in focusing on what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I focus on what we're doing, and I've always said that I don't really look what other people are doing and worry about what other people are doing, and focus on my own things, initiatives, what I'm trying to do. I think everyone has different goals they're setting each other, and everyone's at a different stage of their journey. I was very fortunate from day one. It was a belief I had, so I bring it on. I think people are, and sometimes if you call a spade, place that trying to do things, it's like trying to reverse engineer a pig. It's an absolute nightmare. So if you're in year 5 and you never did this before, it's going to be totally difficult to get everyone, because then you're changing culture, you're changing values. So starting out, it's a lot easier to do if that's your belief than getting down the line. It's not irreversible. I think a lot of companies are doing it, a lot of businesses are doing it. I think, can they do better? Yeah, we can all do better. Yeah. You know, we still put out bins, and I get them weighed, and I get a weekly report on what weight was in the bin. So I challenge the team every Tuesday at the management meet, and then I offset what we're paying. I say, this is what we're paying at the moment, let's bring it down. And then I'll invest that money back with you guys, and we'll do something different with it. We'll have an evening out, which I haven't had in years or whatever. So I do think people are adjusting to reusable packaging. Can I do better? Yeah, we can all do better. Honestly, we can all do a lot better.
Yeah, fair point. For other cafes, restaurants looking to reduce single-use plastic consumption, where should they start? I think you just said that. If you're 5 years down the line, it's going to take a little bit more effort. Whereas if you're starting off, it appears easier because you can implement it quicker.
Yeah. Well, I think if you look at the package, and the best thing you'll ever do is actually, if you get a delivery and you stand there and just take a minute and take it all in and look at something and open a box. Then you look at say if there's 5 kilos in the box, every kilo is individually wrapped. So look at elements that you can buy that it's a bulk, and ask if it's engagement, communication. Ring your supplier, speak to your supplier, say, hey, I'm looking to eradicate this waste. Can you give me this? Can you give me that? I remember when we first opened here, it was we got something in the back, some delivery came. There's a chef working here, Jack, phenomenal chef and Polish guy, and he says, something came in, and he just took everything out of the box and threw the box at the driver. And the driver goes, what's this? And he goes, I ordered this, I didn't order the plastic in the box. And there's a real roar live, and the driver's and the driver goes outside, picks his phone up, he's ringing, his boss to say, your man's giving me the boxes back here. And there was a head scratching moment, and Jack was just, and the way he said it, he was just I ordered that. I didn't say, hey, can I have this in a plastic bag wrapped in a box? And he was just so straight. And so the drivers take back the boxes, so a lot of suppliers. But again, it's like working, look who's supplying you. Yeah. And it's not, sometimes I get a bit where I'm just trying to get rid of the middlemen. I'm not trying to get rid of the men, but if I can go to the source and I can connect with that person who is growing that food or producing that food because of their passion, I like to talk directly to them. I like them to understand. I like them to tell me the story, why they're growing it, how it's grown, where it's coming from. And I think when you can get that connection, the supply thing will come different in terms of you'll get what you request, because as a small producer, a small supplier, anything they package is under a cost of them. So they might package certain things because they have to for certain going to big industrial units. But if you can go to them, I don't need any of that packaging. I'll collect it there. And I think one person is the McNally family farm. In North Dublin, phenomenal. Pick up the phone or email Jenny. Used to pick up the phone, now we email. It's send her what you need, and it's collected in a reusable box. So you get it, you bring the box back. And believe you me, it's funny, Dave the driver is actually going out today to get stuff, and he said, I better get 5 of them boxes, because if I don't arrive back with the boxes, Jenny will call you out. Which is phenomenal, because so I know that I'm telling the team to do this, but I know Dave the driver, what he told me is that he hasn't been doing what he should be doing, and she's calling out. So on the end to end, Jenny's got my back.
Full accountability.
It's accountability. So it's working with them is and having a conversation around like the reusable element of it is important. It's important.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And again, Eoin, and I think one of the most predominant words that has come up within this fabulous chat that we're having is communication.
Yes, communication is key.
Please.
Yeah. And you look at that, like, so it's when you go back to the whole communication piece and you look at how communication came around. It was as a child you were taught to, whether no matter where you're from, it's different language, and that set your speech. So it was always communication. And then somewhere along the line, like, and you see it now more than ever. Fortunately and unfortunately, now we have kids that are on tablets, they're on their phones. So we're detaching that. Now I have people who send me voice notes, and you know, instead of picking up the phone and calling me, you know. So it's this third-party communication where I'm like, and they'll go on sometimes for over 2 minutes, and you're like, what is this? Bring up, ask the question. So I'd be like, the lines of communication are easier, or you know.
That's based on me, but.
But like, yeah, communication is key, and it's like the point to point.
It's
answering, getting away, and I think like I always say the butcher, the baker, and the beer maker. So it's having a baker where someone can go and challenge you and say, why does the bread taste like this? Oh, I got a loaf last week, the bottom was burnt, or I got this, didn't like the seeds, too much rye in it, and that keeps indirectly that the customer keeps you on a straight path. It's same when you go to your butcher, you say, hey, how's it going? Two brothers, actually great butchers in Daly, the Farley brothers, and when you say, I'm looking for a piece of meat, where's it coming from? They'll tell you where it's coming from, the name of the guy who had it, produced it. Same with Jenny in veg, Jenny Watts. And if people say, oh, you season, how do you season meat? Go to a supplier who only grows in season, and you have no choice but to eat off what you've got or they've got. So that's an element of how you only get, you know who's behind it. So I think if you're involved in food anyway, you have a duty to make that the best possible thing you can by putting dishes together. So talk to your veg person, talk to your butcher, talk to your beer maker. Ask the questions, so it's good.
And I love even around communication, words, body language and tone.
Yeah.
And you're right, when you lose those, you lose a part of the essential parts of communication, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I'm very like that. Like, I'm looking at Tracie while I'm talking to Tracie, I'm not looking at the camera like, hey, everybody has it going on, you know what Tracie's saying. Because it's more than just words. It's reading the language, it's understanding what they're saying, understanding where they're at, the point they're going to get through. So communication is key.
Absolutely. Key and king. What's one sentence you would like people to use when describing your business? I like this one.
One sentence. It wouldn't be the basics. Yeah, it'd be like okay. So I'll put it back to you. The one thing I'd like to do is I'd like everyone to understand that there's a team. There's an element of leaders in here. People more than own. You know, it's one sentence is like, okay, maybe I don't know. Very very tough question.
Isn't it?
When they're talking about I would say, okay, say sustainable, here for the people, you know, here for, you know, one thing I would like to get through is my mission, my number one goal would be the fact to get everyone eating real bread and put a loaf of real bread, or the availability of having a loaf of real bread in every household on the island of Ireland.
That's beautiful.
That's what to do.
That's powerful.
There you go. That's it.
And what a great fucking team you have.
Yeah, great team. Yeah, no, great team. Wonderful people. There's 44 people here at the moment. Be it that there's 39 females here, it's fantastic. It's something that it's really weird to say. You have a lot of girls working here, because they just tell you how it is. They're trying to keep me in tow. You know, I'm one of, I've got 4 sisters, so since I've been a kid, I've been growing up and just did what your sisters told you to do. So it's here like that. If I say I'm doing this, I just do it. But they're great, and I'm super fortunate. They're the best in the country, and so lucky to have them.
Love it.
Yeah.
Eoin, thank you so much.
Thank you
for your very valuable time.
Yeah, no, it's any time I can be on like that. It's great.
Yeah, and Ballymaloe Foods, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Ballymaloe Foods, great.
Yeah, your honesty.
Did they bring me some relish?
We know what you do.
Did I get some relish?
Yeah, we
got some relish. Good stuff.
Let's get on it.
Thanks.
Thanks so much, everyone.